In today's show, breaking down what we've seen after 2 games for the Trail Blazers in Vegas. Indeed, 2 games into the Yang Hansen era. We talk about him and everything else we've seen from the Blazers at Summer League. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter Mike Richmond. You're listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making this show your first listen, coming at you each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. So make it a part of your daily routine. Make it your first listen. Tell your friends to do the same. As Locked On Blazers, your team every day. In today's program, we're 2 games in, to the Blazers Summer League experience, 2 games into the Hansen in Vegas experience. We're going to break down what we saw from the Blazers, from Hansen in Game 2 against Memphis, and plus his teammates, the other Blazers roster guys, after 2 games in Vegas. If you missed the bonus episode I did on Friday night, immediately after Game 1, when the Blazers beat the Warriors and it was Hansen's debut, I spent 20 minutes talking all things Hansen, so I'm going to talk about him again today, but we're only going to focus on Game 2 from him, and then everybody else we get into, Caleb Love, Sidy, Cissoko, Rayan, Rupert, the Blazers roster guys under contract. We'll focus on sort of the whole weekend, both games from Vegas. But let's get into the Hansen experience because he was fun in Game 2. Not nearly as good, right? Not nearly as good. I think in his second game, he looked much more like a 20-year-old rookie playing against a more talented team. Like that Golden State team was so much worse than the Memphis team. Memphis was trying out dudes are going to play. Jalen Wells played for the Grizzlies. He was first team all-rookie last year. Cam Spencer, I don't know if he'll get rotation minutes, but like he was a draft pick last year, second year guy. Like they're playing some NBA players in this one. They didn't have Gigi Jackson. That would have been an interesting, nice test, another sort of fast NBA quality wing for Hansen to have to deal with. But like Memphis is just way more talented than that stinky Warriors team. So this was a better test, and I thought. While Hansen had some flashes that were like, yeah, that dude's there's still some stuff that makes him special. This was much more. Game 2 was much more of a rookie stuff. Like this was much more of a game where you kind of realized that there is a learning curve that he will have to deal with. Just compared to Game 1, like the box score isn't demonstrably different for Hansen. The game was different. He did not play as well. Finished, and I don't want to get too much into box score stuff in Summer League. I don't care about the counting stats. Watch the games. You'll appreciate it more. 10 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, a block shot, turned the ball over 5 times, 4 of 8 from the floor, missed both of his 3-point attempts, hit both his free throws. Early in the game, he's playing against Armando Bacot, who's spent most of last year in the G League, Carolina legend. But like Bacot's not very big, 6'9", 6'10", but like he's strong as heck. Like that is his gift and why he might like squeak into the back half of an NBA roster at some points because he's just a strong person with decent touch around the rim. And I thought his strength was a challenge a little bit for Hansen. But early on, Hansen gets at the top of the key, spins, Bacot reaches, and Hansen wants to spin and get to his right hand. Spins and gets to his right hand. Could have been an and one. Didn't call it. Nice bucket. It's like already pretty impressive. He got more paint touches in Game 2 than he did in Game 1. I know I mentioned that he got 0 paint touches in Game 1. He definitely got 1 right out of halftime. I guess my brain, while my eyes saw it, my brain never did. But certainly in Game 2, he got way more paint touches. He got way more, not even paint touches, I should say. Touches inside the arc, some direct post-ups, he had 2 pick and roll plays I'll talk about, but like I thought he just looked worse on defense in this game. Second night of a back-to-back against better quality competition. They're playing fast as heck. Both the Blazers just like want to push. Like this was a tough test for him physically, and I think like that'll be a test for him. Can he get his conditioning up where he can like really play? He's not going to have to like. The demand will be a little bit different early in his career than what it was, but eventually, you play 25 minutes back-to-back nights against NBA competition. That's the job. But I thought his conditioning was a little bit. I thought he was a little kind of. He looked a little tired in the second half, like in terms of reactions and stuff like that. But I even thought early on, Hansen had some moments. There's a really early drive by Cam Spencer where Hansen was helping off his man in the paint, and he just didn't get over to the fast enough from the middle of the paint to the rim. He was a maybe step and a half late, just a little bit slow. In general, I think Hansen's timing in as a drop defender, that's when you're way back from the level of the screen of the pick and roll, or in his case, just if his man is spacing, he's comfortable and a sort of CBA style defense helping out in the paint. I thought it was a little slow in those some of that decision making. His feel on that is something he'll just have to get better on. I think that is part of the learning the NBA game, right? That's the learning curve stuff I'm talking about. It's like he's not horrendously out of position. He doesn't look totally lost. He's a step or two slow. And if you have to think it, your feet aren't going to be there. Like it's a feel thing. He's obviously a pretty smart basketball player from the way he plays on offense. And typically guys his size who think the game pretty well can at least get in position. It'll just be so I think his positioning can really, really improve. There's some physical stuff that could be a challenge for him. There was a play early in this first half where they don't really switch with him, right? But sometimes in screen actions, like you're going to get caught in a switch, like your other defender is going to get buried and you're going to have to help. And he kind of just reached and got beat on a reach. It's like you have to play defense with your feet. If you play defense at his size with your hands, you're just going to be in the cookie jar and they're going to be running past you. Enjoy the cookie because that's it, man. And he reached and got blown by. But he had some moments, two really nice moments in the pick and roll. He didn't roll super well in game one. I thought this game was a much better roll game. One, and what I really liked, it was much less of a highlight play, but it was much more of a this is a repeatable type of smart basketball play. Sets the screen, rolls, doesn't get it on the roll, ball goes to the corner, but as soon as he goes to the corner, he just seals Bacot on the post. That's classic, right? That's just like a classic kind of like how to overload a 2-3 zone. If you get it in that deep to the corner and you can get in front of your man on the block, that's an easy post entry. He scores. Bacot kind of goes for a steal. He seal, pivot, easy dunk, little brush dunk, like no prob. I like that better than the other one, but the other one is the highlight. The highlight. Pick and roll, comes off the screen, rolling to the rim. Lawson Lovering is the center who's in the game for the Grizzlies. I only say that name because he sounds like the third lead in a smut novel. But Lawson Lovering kind of gets caught behind and then tries to recover, and he doesn't get back in front, and Hansen catches it and crams on him. Highlight dunk. But that's just like he's not this crazy. Hansen's not crazy good athlete in terms of like vertical leaping, right? He moves pretty well north-south for someone his size. Certainly has a lot of athleticism in that regard. But he's not like a crazy leaper, right? He's not DeAndre Jordan. But like you give him a runway, he got his feet organized, got up, jumps off 1 foot, dunks easily. You're not going to stop him. Big old poster dunk. Lawson Lovering. Tough. Welcome to the early Hansen highlight reel. You're gonna be there forever. Like I mentioned, he got more catches in the post. I thought he struggled a little bit there. I don't think in game one he did get around his man and got fouled in the post, but this one was like Bacot's strong, and I thought one of the times just like couldn't get in deep enough. Another time he lost like late, very, very, very end of the first half, tries to get into Bacot's chest. Bacot's big and strong, and he just like, he doesn't go anywhere. And Hansen kind of moves the ball and has to take like a one-legged Dirk Nowitzki fade away from the wing. Like, sure, he might eventually be able to hit that shot, but that's like, you don't post a dude up and like hit him in the chest a couple times in order to take a Dirk fadeaway unless you're freaking Dirk, or maybe Kevin Durant. Like, it's just like it. That's There is going to be a point where I think Hansen is a really good post player because I think his strength is going to catch up with him. But clearly, after 2 games, one of the areas he needs to improve is he just needs to get stronger. He's 20 years old. That is a straightforward thing that he can do. He needs to get stronger. I think that is unbelievably clear. The passing wasn't as good in game 2 as it was in game 1, but there was a moment in the first half that I loved. This is my favorite play of the Hansen experience. I love the highlight dunk, right? But I like the post seal and dunk better because it's IQ and repeatable, right? You're not always going to get the parted Red Sea dunk. Like, you just can't, like, at some point someone might rotate over. It's just a little bit different. But like, roll, post, seal, dunk, like, that's repeatable. And he had a play in the first half that I adored. So it happened in the first quarter. Gets the ball in transition and pushes a little bit, and there's one of the Blazers players is in the deep corner and the baseline is wide open. And Hansen just throws him the pass, but it's so far out in front of him that the dude kind of has to corral it and kick it back out because it's kind of a loose ball. But if he had cut hard from the corner, it's a layup. It's a layup, maybe a dunk. Like it's an easy free bucket. And Hansen processed that from 35 feet and threw the pass. And he kind of threw the pass like, hey, dog, cut. It was kind of like it was almost like a you are doing it wrong level of pass. Like he threw the ball, like he threw the ball out in front of him enough to be like, hey, you got to cut there. And then afterwards you could see him. And again, there's like, the language barrier, but Hansen is giving him the hand signals like cut. You got to cut. You got to keep moving. You got to see that. And it just speaks to his IQ, that processing, that speed. There are things that he's not great at right now, right? The physicality, I don't think he's not in the sort of shape yet to play against NBA athletes. The lateral quickness might never be there, right? To be able to be this elite defender on the perimeter. I thought I'll talk a little more about his rebounding in a moment, but like that ability to see that play, make that read, and throw that pass at his size off the dribble, like. That's a skill you can't teach. He had a couple other really nice passes, and I want to talk about his rebounding because I think, I think he had a really awesome day on the glass in Game 1, and it just wasn't repeatable the same way in Game 2. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some more passing, and then we'll get into the Caleb Love experience in the second segment. Join me there, won't ya? First, though, let's talk Hungry Root. Listen, life's busy. You know that just getting anything done in your daily life, adding stuff on top is going to be hard. Meal planning and grocery shopping can be overwhelming. Between your busy schedules, between maybe your picky eaters you got at home and trying to eat healthy, it's a lot. That's why Hungry Root might be the solution for you. They take the stress out of planning by filling your cart with personalized groceries and meal options based on what you like and need. Hungry Root uses their smart cart technology to recommend groceries, recipes, and even supplements tailored to your preferences. Whether you're dairy-free, you're gluten-free, or you're focused on gut health, or you're just trying to eat better in general, Hungry Root's got you covered. You can just take a short quiz, and they will start recommending meals that you like and that fit your diet preferences, and also just things that are yummy. And as well, not just meals, but snacks as well. And if you have nutrition goals, Hungry Root can help you stick to those goals without giving up things that taste good, without sacrificing flavor and convenience. So take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, and the code is LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. All right. So I thought in Game 1, Night 1, Hansen boxed out on every single rebound. And nobody boxes out in the NBA. There's like one dude who boxes out in the NBA, he's Steven Adams. And you know what Steven Adams is? He's maybe the greatest offensive rebounder of all time. If he's not number one, he's up in he's in the top 5 and he ain't 5. Like he's an all-timer. There's just boxing out is a lost art in the league. Post entry is a lost art in the league. Good luck getting a post entry pass in the modern NBA. But like nobody boxes out anymore. Everyone just runs and puts their hands up. You don't see the physicality. It is a lost art. And I thought in Game 1, Hansen boxed out on every shot attempt, and I loved it. And in Game 2, I think two things. One, it was just a little bit different floor, like because the quality of center was a little bit higher. I'm dogging on Lawson Lovering for a funny name, but I thought he was pretty good. Armando Bacot is a good offensive rebounder. He's Carolina's all-time leading rebounder. He did get to play 40 extra games than anyone else, but he's prolific. He's an all-time leader in double-doubles. Like he's strong. And I thought both Hansen boxed out worse. That's probably a result of some just second night of a back-to-back conditioning stuff, right? And I think he'll get in better condition. That break between July and when camp really starts in early September, that's a chance to really get your body right in the NBA. Take a little bit of time off, and then get right back for the August 10th, August 15th on to really get your body right. And I think he can. He's also 20, right? He's just and Armando Bacot's 25. He's just maybe 24, but he's he'll get there. I thought he didn't box out as well because I thought he was not as attentive, and I thought there were times when he tried to do the thing that basketball players do. Jump up, just be tall, put your hands up and jump up. But if you don't put a body on someone, they can get around you. You don't get to, you don't get all the benefits of a strong box out if you do no box out, right? If you do not box out at all. I thought he was worse there, and I thought his reactions off the box outs were worse. Like, he wasn't hit your man, then get to the ball. It was hit your man and watch. A lot of hit your man and watching. That could be tired stuff. That could just be kind of experience stuff. Like, one of the things about the sort of Steven Adams effect is that, like, Russell Westbrook got all those rebounds because he went and crashed because he knew Steve-O would block out. So maybe some of it is getting familiar with what Hansen's going to do. If he's a blockout guy, I think Robin Lopez is pretty similar to this. Brooke Lopez to some extent, both Lopez brothers, but Robin in Portland's pretty similar to this. He was a blockout guy. You can go get rebounds, but you have to pursue if you've got a blockout guy in your team. So some of that might just be familiarity, but I think also there was some slow reaction stuff, just some in general kind of speed stuff with Hansen's game. As I mentioned, I don't think the passing was as good as game one when the passing was phenomenal right off the top, but like, he still had some dimes. That backdoor cut was that the guy didn't make the cut was a great read, right? Like, that's like nothing. That's a truly a nothing in the box score. Great read though. He had another pass to Sean Padula, Blazers soon to be Rip City Remix member Sean Padula, and the first backdoor cut, Padula just smoked the layup. Great pass, top of the key, same idea. Top of the key, reading like you're going to go into a dribble handoff, cut backdoor. Hansen finds him and he just smoked the layup. He got him back in the fourth quarter as. Again, same idea. Padula cuts backdoor down the middle of the paint, and Hansen throws a just well-timed, great weight on it bounce pass. He's good at that. That is going to be a thing he does. They let him operate at the top of the key because that is where he's comfortable and that's where he can make the most plays. There are steps in his game where he's going to be able to, they need to be able to move him all around the floor, right? But for young players, the most important thing you can do is have your strengths be strong, and his passing ability to read right now is really strong early. There were more warts in this game than there were in game one, but I still think, he looks promising for a 20-year-old making this transition. No doubt about it. This transition to the level of competition. I hope they let him play the rest of summer league. We shall see. I hope he doesn't sit because he's got some stuff, and I want to see him continue to play against better competition that isn't the freaking Warriors summer league team. Let's talk Caleb Love. I think this is Blazers two-way player. He's spent 5 years in college at UNC in Arizona. He's now gonna play. He's gonna be on a two-way contract. I think that these two games were just so much the Caleb Love experience. They gave you the full experience, right? He makes enough plays off the dribble, getting himself to the rim, and shoots enough threes well. He made 7 of 16 in 2 games, like shot well enough from 3. And did enough with the ball in his hands to make you feel like he's got the goods, right? But there's some inefficiency stuff, shot below 38% from the floor across the 2 games. There's just some decision-making, playmaking limitations that can just kind of mute your enthusiasm a little bit. So it's like there's moments when he's just shooting pretty looking threes off dribble handoffs from Hansen, and like that thing is just barely touching the rim, and you're like, Caleb Love can hoop. And then you kind of look at the final box and you're like, damn, scored 18 points on 21 shots. Dang. I thought he was better than that. And there's just some kind of decision making stuff, like a shot selection stuff. That's just who he is. He's been a volume scorer for he shot under 40% from the field for his entire college career. That was the Caleb Love experience. So he's playing off the ball a lot. He's not playing very much real point guard at all. Because he is, even when they are letting him dribble the ball across half court as if that makes you a point guard, the guy who's initiating the action is often Hansen at the top of the key. Throw into Hansen, get into your spot. Or if they're running more pick and roll stuff, it's been more Sidy Cissoko in terms of pick and roll decision-making, playmaking stuff. Love has kind of functioned as a 2 on offense. And so it's maybe he's had fewer assist opportunities, but I also don't think his playmaking, he hasn't had moments where it's where the playmaking stood out. I'm watching the games. Like I'm not just looking at the box score to appreciate it, but 3 assists and 4 turnovers across 2 games. Turnovers is a pretty good number, just 4 in 2 games, but 3 total assists for a guy his size in 2 games. Like he's got to get a little bit better there. All told, I feel pretty good about him as a two-way guy. I probably feel better about him as a two-way guy than I thought I would, because I've seen so much of Caleb Love that I do have some skepticism about his overall effectiveness. And I said before Summer League, I didn't think he's an NBA dude. I probably still feel that way, but I don't have, I have no, like, a two-way contract for someone who, like, kind of has some of the physicality and maybe the shooting, like, although we'll see. I feel pretty good about him two-way. That's a fairly low risk thing, but I also feel good about him as a two-way guy because of some of the imperfections that he showed in these games. Full Caleb Love experience. If you're just a buckets person, he made enough buckets to really pull you in. If there were some moments though, where he just, some of the decision making, he missed one absolutely wide open 3 in this game too. He makes that, it's kind of a different game. Then it feels very different. It does, because then you're talking, he was, 8 of 16 from 3 in 2 games, and he's back to back at 21 and 18. But he's scoring. He can score at this level, and I think he'll be able to score. It's just, will he is he ever going to be in a role in the NBA when he gets to shoot the ball 21 times in 30 minutes? I guess if he plays 30 minutes, you probably can count on him shooting 21 times. Also, he's only taken 2 free throws in 2 games. You'd like to see him get to the free throw line a little more often. I think that's if you're nitpicking. But I think he's had some moments. It's 2 games in Summer League. I feel like I just have a bigger body of work with Caleb Love than some of these guys. And so maybe that is coloring some of my reactions here. But as a two-way guard, I feel totally comfortable. I don't feel like, oh no, and I don't feel like he's so much better than two-way. I feel like two-way, great position to be in. Let's talk Sidy Cissoko. Let's talk Rayan Rupert. We'll do that in the second segment, in the third segment to close the show. Before we do that, though, let's talk FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book, and summer sports are in full swing. So whether you are trying to get on action on the home run derby this week, or you're trying to check out some golf all summer long, or high stakes footy action out on the pitch, FanDuel's the best way to make games even more exciting. You're already following the action. You're a sports person, so why not add to the thrill? With FanDuel, you can get on the action live in-game betting. You can get on same-game parlays. You can build live same-game parlays, or you can just, have a bet you like and watch it ride out through the whole game. And you've got NBA Summer League action. You've got the MLB All-Star Weekend. You've got all of everything you could ever imagine. It's all there on FanDuel on an app that is super easy to use. And when you win, you get your money quickly. It is a good time to get involved, because new customers on FanDuel can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Bet $5. If it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond. You're still listening to Locked On Blazers. Let's talk about the Blazers' other roster guys. Sidy Cissoko is also on a two-way deal. He had a good game against Memphis. He had 20 points, and he shot it okay. He makes some confounding decisions, but I feel like I'm intrigued by him in general. He's a big physical wing with some initiation and playmaking upside, and playmaking upside. Like, you can give him the ball 40 feet from the rim and hey, get us into something. He can pass a little bit. I think he uses his frame pretty well. He's wide, and I think he uses it well. He's broad shoulder. I think he uses it pretty well in his drives. He's not an overwhelming athlete by any means. He's not. He's more of fluid for being built like a linebacker, right? You're oh, he moves pretty well for someone like him, as opposed to wow, that's a crazy athlete. His athleticism is that he moves that well and can handle the ball at his size, at a broad 6'6", but he's not this like he'd just be a different player if he was like an overwhelming vertical athlete. He wouldn't be available to the Blazers on a two-way deal. Somebody would have drafted him in the first round and like been hoping that all the tools come together. He's not that, right? His athleticism is fluidity. It's not this like overwhelming force. 2 of his assists in game 2 against Memphis are like driving off the bounce kickouts to the corner. One where he drove and drew a bunch of defenders and then like threw a sort of behind the back bailout to the corner for an open 3, and another one where he drove and threw a skip to Rayan Rupert in the corner that Rupes hit, his only bucket in that game. I think in general there's a lot of chaotic choices from Cissoko where you're like, oh yeah oh yeah, like I get it. But like in game 2 against Memphis, he turned the ball over 5 times. But like I'm not banging the drum for him to be part of the Blazers rotation. In fact, I can't even really see a path where he would get opportunity over like the number of guys in front of him. But I personally enjoy his particular skill set. He's the type of player I am intrigued by, and so I'm intrigued by him, although like seeing his limitations. I think like, you know, he made 3 threes in this game. All of the catch and shoot variety, right? Like he's not ace and threes off the dribble. Again, ace and threes off the dribble, different player. All the catch and shoot variety. The 3-pointer is probably going to be the swing skill more than the sort of chaotic decision making, because if he could really shoot and he kind of can make plays off the dribble and stuff, like he would be playable in most lineups, right? Because of his size and because of the varied skill set. He hasn't shot well in the G League. He hasn't shot well in his brief appearances in the NBA. That's going to be the thing that changes for him. You know, he missed his 2 threes in game 1. He hit 3 out of 6 in game 2. Some of that is positive reinforcement. When you see one go in, you're more likely to shoot more. He took 14 shots and 3 free throws. He was on the ball a lot. He had a nice and one moving to his right over, we're calling him out again, Lawson Lovering. Like in general, I'm intrigued by him, but yeah, like I think you can see some of his limitations. But if he could shoot, the whole calculation changes, and shooting is a skill you can improve at. Like shooting is a place where you can get better. Saving the worst for last. Rayan Rupert had such a freaking good first game. 23 points on like, I don't know. Well, he was 5 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3, and hit all 11 of his free throws. That's something like in the range of 85 or 90% true shooting. It's like just an absolutely elite efficiency night in game 1. But he was such a presence in transition. It was just like steal, push, go, run out and get out, leak out on the break and go. It wasn't half court wizardry. He made threes. He made 2 of his 3 threes in that game, and when they go in, it looks good. And I think he has been a better shooter than I thought he would be in the NBA. But like some of his foul drawing stuff was opportunistic transition pushes and just like single one cut type of get fouled at the rim stuff. Like I thought he was aggressive, but it was not like give me the ball, run a pick and roll, feel my defender, nice crafty drive and finish. It was like it was all single action, sort of single decision straight line moves, and he got fouled and he made his free throws. Like he was very, very efficient in that game. I didn't talk about him because I didn't do an episode until now. But if I had what I would have said after that first game is like that's maybe that's better than you would have expected, but that's what you're supposed to do. A third-year guy in the NBA should be a dude who's played 2 seasons in the league and is coming to his 3rd summer league. He should be good. Maybe not dominant good. It doesn't really matter how old you are. I don't care how old Rayan Rupert is. He's playing in his 3rd year in Vegas. He's played 2 NBA seasons. Like even if he had really limited minutes last year, he needs to be further along. And in game 1, he was further along. And you're like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have good nights. Again, like 23 on 90 something, 88% true shooting is like, maybe that's a little rich, but like 15, 17, get to the free throw line because you're just like smarter than the sort of level of defense that's out there, that type of thing. You need to be a cut above. a half step above, a toe above the competition, because you're about to enter your third NBA season, and there are dudes, the majority of guys playing in Summer League are just straight up not NBA players. You got to be better than them. He was barely noticeable in game 2, and I think that was the problem. He took 4 shots, didn't score inside the arc, just a really anonymous game. And that's, honestly, anonymous is worse than poor shooting. Anonymous is worse than inefficient. Anonymous is worse than like I would much rather Rayan Rupert go 1 of 14 with 6 turnovers, and you'd be like, well, at least he tried to do a lot, instead of kind of just like floating and not being part of it and not demanding to be part of it. Like, I would much rather him try to play like Sidy Cissoko. Like, give me the ball. I'm about to run some pick and rolls and I'm about to make some crazy decisions. I would much prefer that, right? Like, as opposed to just kind of floating in nowheresville. I'll offer the caveat that it's one game in Vegas, and it's whatever. He played 25 minutes of one game in Vegas, and who cares? Finished with 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting. Sure, that's fine. I accept that as a caveat. But I will say, for me, it was a notable absence of activity, and it leaves me, and I said this going into Summer League for Rupert, if he wasn't like pretty darn good, I would have some skepticism about his sort of general developmental arc, and this game made me feel that level of skepticism. I don't feel the need to write him off as a player, but when you do this, like I do, you kind of say, like, you kind of start putting people in categories, right? And for Roops, I'm like, he's in a category that I don't know how he's going to make it in the league, because he hasn't demonstrated enough stuff that says this is definitely how I'm going to make it in the league. You have to, like, what can you hang your hat on? The idea that he's a good defender? It's like, let's see him. Yeah, it's like he just, I hope he has a much stronger close to Vegas, right? I hope he has a much stronger close to Vegas, because he did play so much better in game 1. And he doesn't need to be that level. I stress that again. He does not need to be that level. That's not like where I would say the baseline. He's got to have this like hyper efficient 20-point game. He needs to look like he's better than the other players. Because if he doesn't, that's a pretty strong indicator that he isn't. You see how that works? Because he's not someone who is on the fringes. He is someone who is entering year 3 of his NBA career. Time to show that you absolutely do not belong in Vegas. The best thing he can do is over the next couple games is say, like, yeah, one bad night, they should not have brought me. I'm too good to be here. I hope we see that from Roops, because right now I feel skeptical about what sort of his path is, because of a quiet night like he had in game 1, admittedly one night. That is going to do it for today's program. It's what we do 5 days a week, wherever you get podcasts, and also on YouTube. We'll do 4 more of these the rest of the week. Tell your friends about the program. Tell them they can get it wherever they get podcasts, and also on YouTube. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.